All right, this is Billy Dooley with Coach Dooley's List, and we're back. And like I tell every time, if you are enjoying these coaching videos, and please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on all of our social media. Today I'm here with Allie Meeks. She is the head cheerleading coach for Gameday, right?
Gameday and Sideline football now.
Gameday Cheer, Sideline here at Jackson County. So, Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to meet with us today.
I appreciate you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. The first thing I always ask coaches, tell us a little bit about your coaching journey. How did you end up at Jackson County?
So, in 2016, I had the opportunity to go back and work at my alma mater, which was Franklin County High School. So, I got a counseling position there. I was there for a year and then kind of put my foot in to coach. So I coached JV for 1 year and then went straight into varsity sideline for football and for basketball. I was there for 8 years. And then when I applied for the position at Jackson County, I reached out to the person in charge of cheer here and just said, hey, I'm interested. I'll go wherever you need me. They had mentioned that they were starting a game day squad this past year. I had mentioned that I had done game day in the past, so they were like, great, you can do that squad. And I was like, well, good. Anything to get my foot in the door. So that was my first year last year doing game day here at Jackson County. And then this year has opened up the opportunity to continue with game day, but then also take on football sideline. Yeah.
Well, and if you slide your foot in the door and
Correct.
If you are willing, then you're going to go in both
yes,
feet.
I have found that out.
Well, that's awesome. And I know Coach Hayes very well, and he speaks very highly of you. And I know Coach Brooks appreciates all the help as well.
Everybody here has been great. I appreciated the opportunity when I came in. They took a chance. The girls took a chance on me. So everybody's been very open and very willing to help. The coaches here have been excellent. The way they work together has been great. So everything went great this year. And I'm very appreciative that they let me kind of come in. No questions asked, really.
Oh, yeah. Well, and a lot of people don't realize now how many different groups are with cheerleading. Yes. Now that you have game day, you have sideline, the competition, and basketball. And so being able to work together, I know it's great.
100%.
Yeah. So one thing, I ask every coach is, what do you want your cheer programs to be known? I know, getting first year, you probably had some sort of a vision about what you wanted your program to be like. So what do you want people to know Jackson County Cheer for?
Well, with game day specifically, this is something that these girls, it was definitely a learning curve. It's something that it's a shift for them, especially when they're used to doing regular competition. So this last year was like, okay, we just have to make it to the competition. I need you guys to just see what it's like, because I can talk to you about it till I'm blue in the face, but until you do it, you're not going to know exactly what I mean when I mean game day competition. So they did great this year. They took the instruction. It was Allie Meeks choreography, so they they listened to everything that I said. We did great. We didn't make it to the second round, so that's definitely a goal for this year. But for our whole cheer program, I think sometimes cheerleaders have a lot to prove as far as, are they athletes? Is it a sport? Things like that. So I think I want our cheerleaders to just be able to show that they're athletes. I want people to come out on Friday nights or watch them on the mat and be like, you know what? That's some difficult stuff that they're out there doing. I want them to be great cheerleaders, and I want them to be known for that. But then also attitude is a huge thing for me. I want them to have good attitudes on the sideline, on the mat, in school, with their friends. I want them to be respectful. I think as a coach, I think that's always something that you want your team to be known for. I don't know many coaches that want their teams to be known for being bad sports or or turds or just not acting right. I think we always want our team to go out and be good citizens so that people can see that. So I think that's very important also.
Absolutely. No, it's funny you say that, because I don't know that anybody's ever come and, using the word turd. I know a lot of coaches watching, I know. No, but I love it, because there's one coach in particular that a lot of people are going to think of, because that was his favorite word to say. But so, in all your years, I know you worked at your alma mater and then coming over here to Jackson. What's one coaching story that just kind of you love to tell, or it's like a great memory you had? What's something that you've had over the years? What's a good coaching story for you?
Well, I feel like when you're at the high school level, there's a lot of opportunities to have good coaching memories, because that's kind of the reason I became a high school counselor, because you can see them on the way out, and then you get to experience what they do as adults.
Right.
So I think there's a lot. There's one that it kind of started off as not a great coaching story, but it ended up being that way. And I think that's the most kind of rewarding stories. So I had a cheerleader that as a 9th grader, and a lot of times as a 9th grader, we say it takes a year to get the middle school out of them. There was a lot of attitude. There was a lot of, well, if I'm not going to do what I want to do, then I'm just going to sit down and pout and that kind of stuff. We did teacher recommendations for the next tryout, her 10th grade year. And unfortunately, the combination of the teacher recommendations, the attitude, she had to be cut from all squads. And I think it was an opportunity. And as a coach, you take a chance where the student could take the opportunity and just say, well, they're all against me. I'm just going to quit. I'm never going to do it again. Or you can maybe have them humble themselves, take a look inside, maybe have some difficult conversations with some people, and they come back better the next year. And that's our hope when unfortunately we have to cut people, is that they come back better and they use that opportunity for growth instead of being the victim.
Right.
And that's exactly what she did. She had some hard conversations with some important people in her life. She came to me on her own and said, hey, I'm going to do whatever I need to do. It took her a little bit to do that because there were some feelings involved, of course, at the beginning. But she came to me and she said, I'm going to do what I have to do to make the squad next year. And that's a very rewarding thing, because anytime a teenager can kind of look inside and say, you know what can I do to make myself better if I really want to be a part of this program? And I think having that student work through adversity made her a better cheerleader in the end. And those last 2 years, she's one of my favorites still to this day. But we had to work through some stuff for her to get to that point. And sometimes you have to make hard choices like that as a coach, and just pray that they make it out and they make the right choice. But I think about that all the time, because it was a difficult thing for me as a counselor. I have a soft heart and I don't like to cut people, but sometimes it's necessary for them to be able to kind of look inward and see what they need to work on. So.
Oh yeah, no, and you know, I don't want to think about these situations, but like, you do have the kids that, I think you said something that everybody's against me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the victim mentality sometimes, when it's like, what they don't see a lot of times is you have a program to run.
Right.
And if you get one that's tough, it's fine. You can mentor them, but you start getting 2 or 3 that are that way, then it makes life a lot more difficult. But I love that too, that you say she did come back, because as I've been coach softball for years, and a lot of times girls don't come back, and you give them that opportunity. And I think, they find other opportunities and things. So, but if it is important to you, she did. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, what's one piece of advice, being a head coach, learning over the years, what's a piece of advice you would give to somebody who thinks they would like to become a head coach?
I mean, it's definitely something that takes a lot of thought. I would say it doesn't need to be something that you just kind of jump into if you don't have a passion for the sport that you're thinking about coaching. It's definitely, and that's kind of why I've always wanted to be a part of some sport wherever I worked, is because it does make you feel, or to me personally, it does make you feel like you are much more part of the school. It makes you feel like you belong. Sometimes when we're just working and we go home every day, it kind of we don't feel like we're, I don't want to say important, but it doesn't feel like we're involved. And I've always been one of those people that I want to be involved, and being involved in a sport opens up many opportunities to meet many different athletes, and you can have a different kind of relationship when you're a coach. You spend a lot of time with these kids, and I have a different perspective too, because I'm a counselor, so I'm not in the classroom every day. So this gives me an opportunity to spend more time with students that maybe I wouldn't necessarily, that are not in my alphabet for a counselor. So I think it's a great opportunity. I love it. We have a young girl who just started with our JV. I love it when young girls are coming in. We need them to come in so that when we go out, they can take over. But I think it's a very rewarding job a lot of times. And not to say that there's not times that you're like, why am I doing this? This is a lot of work. But I do. I know. Yes. But I think at the end of the day, the relationships that you build, and just the way that you can watch these athletes kind of grow from 9th grade to their senior year, I think is so rewarding. So I think if it's something that somebody wants to do, I'd say reach out to somebody that could be a mentor to you in your school, because definitely going into it alone is a little bit overwhelming. So I think finding a group, finding people that can help you, people that you can ask advice to, I think that helps immensely. Because if they've been there, they've done it, they have maybe all the answers, not all the answers, but they can definitely be a shoulder to lean on when you have these questions, or you're doubting yourself, things like that. So I just think finding your people, and just connecting with them, I think. But I think it's definitely rewarding. It's not for everybody, but
that is true. That is true.
Yeah.
No, and I love that too. And you know, one of the big ideas behind Coach Dooley's list is to connect coaches with vendors, and that's really the main thing. And all the times you've coached over the years, you know, who's some great vendors you've worked with that you would refer to somebody else or to any other coach, whether it be cheerleading or anything else?
Yeah. Well, I think anybody involved in cheer obviously knows that Varsity is a great company. Mm-hmm. I've been very beneficial to have great reps over the years. We had one rep at Franklin the whole time that I was there, and then the rep that we have worked with this year at Jackson has been fantastic. Yep. I think anybody that's in cheer knows that Varsity is kind of the top tier when it comes to uniforms and things like that. And then All-American flags and banners, their run-throughs are fantastic. I'm looking into getting some flags for game day right now. The quality is fantastic, and they're very easy to work with. You can pretty much just send them what you need. They'll send you a mock-up, and it's very easy. So those are two that I've worked with before that have been great. And then also not necessarily a vendor, but FCA Cheer. I have worked with them for years at Franklin. Haven't gotten Jackson into FCA Cheer yet, hopefully in the future. But FCA is a great organization just in general. FCA Cheer is great. Mary Lou, who is the director of FCA Cheer, is fantastic. When I first started coaching, we went to coaches camp and to cheer camp, and just being able to connect with other cheer coaches in the area was fantastic. And I built a lot of lasting friendships and relationships just through that program. It's really great. So.
No, and thank you for that. Well, definitely, I think Varsity and the flag company, they're not on the website. We're definitely going to get them added. And then thank you for shouting out FCA. So coaches and teams, if you're not a part of anything with FCA,
right,
it's not just, just meetings in the morning and huddles. There's camps in the summer. There's camp for marriages. There's camps for everything, and they are very, very beneficial to all programs.
It's fantastic.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you meeting with us, and best of luck to you.
Thank you so much.
I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you. I appreciate you.